Hi guys, and welcome to my review of Beach House 503 at Excellence Oyster Bay. I'm not only going to show you a walkthrough of Beach House 503, but also try and show you what it's like to actually stay in this beach house, what the beach is like in front of Beach House 5, compare this to the other beach house locations, stuff like that. If you find this video helpful, please subscribe to my channel. It'll motivate me to actually finish editing several videos I have in the works, including one that shows more of this resort. And we have a trip planned to Excellence El Carmen in a couple months, which will be our first trip to that location. So I'm planning on doing a review of that stay as well. Back to EOB. This was our third stay here. It's fair to say that I love this resort, mostly thanks to the beach houses, which are unlike anything else offered in the Excellence chain. When you arrive at Excellence Oyster Bay, you'll first be greeted at the main lobby with a glass of sparkling wine. And since the beach houses are part of the resort's Excellence Club, you'll then be whisked off in a golf cart to the Excellence Club check-in, getting a tour of the resort along the way.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah, man. Welcome back to Jamaica.
Thank you.
So straight ahead over here, you have the spa. So if you want to relax one of the days, my lady or sir, that's the place you go, okay?
Yes.
Over here you get all the top shelf liquor over there, okay?
Yes.
Anything you want on me, okay?
Very good.
You're so generous.
Yes.
What we're driving along now is the back of the beach houses, the side where you enter your suite. The beach houses are all lined up along this main path that goes from the Excellence Club building to the main pool. The Excellence Club building also has the Magna restaurant, one of two Excellence Club restaurants at Excellence Oyster Bay. The other one is at the other end of the resort, the Zenith restaurant. And in this building as well, there's an Excellence Club bar and lounge. And now for the room tour. Beach House 503. Bathroom. To the left is the large shower, a shelf with shampoo, conditioner, body wash, all with a nice lemon scent, although the conditioner is not good enough for my long hair, so I do bring my own. Here's the water controls. The shower has both a large overhead rain shower head and a handheld shower head. By the way, what you're hearing in the background is the room's television playing the resort channel. Overall, the rooms are quiet. We've got two sinks, hand wash, body lotion, washcloths, toothpaste, one toothbrush in the tall box in the back, makeup mirror, your towel rack, and the toilet room back in the corner. The frosted glass door of that room almost closes all the way, but it's not too private. Coming back around, a floor-to-ceiling mirror that's great for checking out your outfits or taking selfies. Behind this door is a nice walk-in closet. It has both shelves and a hanging rack. They will bring you extra hangers on request. I do overpack, and I got about a dozen last time extra. There's two bathrobes. There's a clothes steamer in there, a safe. Now we're looking towards the living area and the deck. The bed, one of the suite's two televisions. There's an end table on each side of the bed and just this open divider between the bed and bathroom. It's really all like one big room. And a jetted bathtub that's big enough for two. I'll have a better picture of that in a second. And looking out to the plunge pool and this gorgeous view of the Caribbean. Wow. There's also frosted glass along the side of the plunge pool that provides some privacy. We've got a side window with blinds that we usually keep shut, otherwise you're looking right onto Beach House 4. In particular, you can see most of Beach House 401's deck, the bottom level, from that window. Okay, swinging around here is where I should have taken a video of the bathtub. We love this tub. It's so relaxing, and the view cannot be beat. There is a small desk and a mirror where you could do makeup, but it's a little too dark for me, so I take the handheld mirror out of the bathroom and do my makeup on the deck. We've got a couch, tables, our Excellence Club amenities, more about that later. Second TV, another desk with a storage area, and here we have shelving with beverages. There's the liquor. Excellence Club upgrades your liquor. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. A lot of Coke Zero, which was my request, and extra water. And we don't drink beer, so our mini fridge has less beer than you might usually find. Also some snacks in there. I should mention that not every guest gets upgraded liquor or a bottle of bubbly waiting for them in their room. Excellence Club rooms do come with upgraded liquor, but we're also at the highest level in the chain's loyalty program, the Excellence Collection Rewards. That program's just been updated, so I won't go into the perks since they've likely changed since our stay. But we really did feel spoiled when we were brought to the room and found they had stocked it with everything that we had politely asked for, and then some. And now the deck. I have to say this was the only day of our entire trip that we didn't have great weather. But even when it's dreary, the view from this deck is still terrific. So the plunge pool, I'll have more about that when I get into my pros and cons of the room. Let's just say we haven't had the best luck with the beach house plunge pools being warm enough to enjoy. The beach in front of Beach House 5 is where weddings are held. They're cleaning up from one here. I think there were 3 or 4 weddings during our stay. It's not a negative at all for us, but it might be if you were staying in the bottom floor of Beach House 5. The deck's daybed is set up next to the partition that separated our deck from our neighbor's deck in 504. Just be aware you can pretty much hear everything that goes on your neighbor's deck. Back inside, one of the benefits of being in the upper floor of a beach house are these high peak ceilings. They really make the room feel spacious. To the left of the suite's door is the Xbox, where room service can leave your food without requiring you to actually open the door. We love eating on the deck, and we carry out the small round table from inside, so there's plenty of room for all of our gluttony. There are charging ports and outlets on each side of the bed, and light switches that, honestly, I could never quite figure out what turned what on and what turned what off, except for by trial and error. And now it's time to actually leave the room. The Cielo Beach Bar is off to the left, and a quick walk to the beach bar is one of the pluses of staying in Beach House 5. If you're staying in the upper floor of a beach house, there are 3 flights of stairs to get from your door to ground level. At the bottom of the stairs is the main path that will take you to the main pool, various restaurants, the Excellence Club buildings at each end of the resort, and the beach. Here's where you'll see the difference between staying in the upper floor of a beach house and the lower floor. There's still a single flight of stairs from the lower floor of the beach house to get to ground level, but the difference is the lower floor also has a flight of stairs from its deck directly onto the beach. It's not hard to get to the beach from the upper floor. You just hang a left or a right when you get to the main path at the bottom of the stairs, and there are paths between the beach houses that will take you directly to the beach. And here we are on the beautiful stretch of beach in front of Beach House 5. One of the smartest things that Excellence has done in the last few years was to add the stairs from the bottom floor decks. Before that, the bottom beach house rooms weren't nearly as popular as the top rooms. But now with direct access to the beach, the lower level has become a lot of guests' favorite. My favorite thing about this is now the upper and lower floors are different booking categories. When we last stayed in 2022, we really didn't know if we'd get our preferred upper beach house floor until we checked in. Now there's no question about that. I just wish they'd change the suite names to something more obvious to let first-timers easily know which is which, or at the very least, update the website photos. But if you want an upper floor beach house, you book Excellence Club Beach House Suite with Plunge Pool Ocean Front. And if you want the lower floor, you book Excellence Club Beachfront House Suite with Plunge Pool. Which do you want? Okay, here's some pics from the beach in front of Beach House 5 to look at while I tell you at length what I think are the pros and cons. The benefits of the lower floor are obvious. You can walk right from your deck onto the beach. Plus, there's a bally bed on the beach in front of the deck that can be only used by the lower floor rooms. Some guests on the bottom floor have said they've gotten drink service on their decks. I wouldn't count on that. The drink service in this area of the beach can be a little spotty. The cons of the bottom floor, not all those beach houses have an unobstructed walk to the water. Some have shrubbery, several are behind the boardwalk seating on the EC beach. Also, with the addition of the deck stairs, the bottom floor doesn't feel as secure to me. There's nothing to stop somebody from walking onto your deck from the beach and then accessing the sliding door to get into your room. To be fair, I haven't heard of any problems with that, but I'd rather not have to worry about it. My husband and I love the views from the upper level, and since I have a habit of waking up in the middle of the night, going out on the deck to look at the stars or watch the sunrise, or at least once to fall asleep for a couple of hours in the middle of the night on the bed out there, I wouldn't feel comfortable sleeping in the dark on the lower level with those stairs. But that's just me. A negative about being on the upper floor is that you don't have reserved seating on the beach in front of your beach house. Besides the bally beds that are reserved for the lower floor, there are 2 palapas in front with 2 chairs each in front of each beach house. Unfortunately, they are not reserved for the upper floor. So the guests in the bottom floor rooms can use them, or technically so can any other guest in an Excellence Club room. And here's where I'm going to go in a little bit of a rant. The first morning of our stay, I was literally walking up to one of the palapas in front of our beach house when a group of 4, none of whom were staying in our beach house, beat me to it. They snagged those 2 lounge chairs as well as the 2 lounge chairs from the palapa on the other side of the beach house. That's fair. First come, first serve. My problem was that they dragged all 4 of those chairs together to sit directly in front of our beach house, facing the beach house. Well, normally I think if a guest wanted sun, they'd pull the chairs farther away from the beach house, closer to the water, and enjoy the beautiful view. Instead, these guys not only took away our ability, and that of the other guests on the top floor, to sit on the beach that was steps away from our room, but they were staring directly at us on our deck. I really felt sorry for the folks sitting on the bottom floor. I'm not sure if it was rude or just clueless for this quartet to choose to sit so close to our beach house on an otherwise very quiet stretch of beach. Honestly, though, it wasn't a big deal. It was more of a head scratcher. One of the things that I like about EOB is that there's no chair game. No matter what time of day, we've never had any problem finding a place to sit at EOB, whether it's at the main pool where there's rows of bally beds facing the Caribbean, at the Excellence Club Beach near the Cielo Bar where there's rows of bally beds set up, or under a palapa near the Magna or Zenith ends of the beach. So the good thing about these interlopers was that it prompted us to have a change of scenery and hang out in some other areas of the resort. But if I didn't want a repeat of the Jersey Shore situation the next day, we had to go plant our butts on the loungers after breakfast until we saw that group set up camp in front of someone else's beach house. By day 4, I figured they probably moved on, so we didn't bother to head out there right after breakfast. But then, they're back. Honestly, all this really shows is just how perfectly the rest of the trip went, that this is even worth me talking about. So thanks for indulging me. As far as the water in front of the beach houses, there aren't a lot of clear areas for swimming. I've heard if you go out deeper, there's some good areas for snorkeling, but we're not that adventurous. So we just walked along the shoreline until we got to the more cleared area of water near the main pool and down at the Zenith end of the beach. Yeah. Can you tell I was having a really good time? Okay, drink service at your beach house. There are servers who occasionally come around, but they're spread pretty thin. That's where Beach House 5's proximity to the Cielo Bar really comes in handy. It takes maybe a minute to walk there. So lots of times it was easier to just get drinks for ourselves. Or should I say it was easier for me to send my husband to get us drinks. Either way, it was easy. I think one of the most asked questions about EOB is, which beach house is the best? The quick answer depends on what you're looking for. I think this video is already too long, and I have plans to make a separate video on that, so I won't go into details, but I can tell you that Beach House 5 is very popular among folks who have stayed in this one. You can put in a request when you make your reservation if you have a preference, but it's just that, a request, not a guarantee. We'll usually list several choices to increase our chances of getting what we want. This was our 3rd stay. I think Beach House 503 was on my list every time, and this is the first time we got it. But we were really happy in Beach House 10 and in Beach House 6. So my best advice is, don't sweat it. While Beach House 5 doesn't have full-on sunrise or sunset views, you can see a bit of both from the deck, particularly the sunset. You can see cruise ships pull into the port at Falmouth, which was way more interesting than I expected it to be. But when they're actually docked, there's some convenient trees that hide them from view when you're on your deck. The same reason they hold beach weddings here is what makes a lot of folks like Beach House 5. Sitting on the curve of the peninsula gives you a wide beachfront that's relatively free of vegetation. Back into the room to go over some more pros and cons. The pros are easy. The view. How spacious the suite is. It's romantic as all heck with the large tub. The view is great from the king-size bed, too. These rooms really are set up for couples. There's very little privacy with just this decorative partition between the main living area and the bathroom area. You can also see the shower and most of the bathroom from the bed thanks to the large wall of mirror. If you're like me, you will send your partner out to the deck when you need some toilet privacy. Speaking of which, bring a nightlight. If you need to use the bathroom in the middle of the night, turning on the bathroom light has the same effect as turning on the room light. One of the only frustrations we've had in our 3 stays in a beach house is the temperature of the plunge pool. When we checked in, they did tell us they heated it for us, and it was comfortable, not hot the first time we used it the day after check-in. We could enjoy our plunge pool for the first time ever. The next day, it was just a little chilly, but still able to be used without chattering teeth. The day after that, forget about it. My husband had a thermometer and the water temperature was in the upper 70s. The air temperature was in the mid-80s, but it was breezy, so it's not like we needed to cool off. I was happy we got to experience it twice, and the Caribbean was nice and warm, so we weren't even motivated to contact staff about getting it hotter. I just wish they would heat them all year round without having to ask. As far as the room temperature, the air conditioning worked great. The room was cool and not damp at all. There was a thermostat by the door, but changing the temp didn't seem to do anything. The AC just kept running full blast unless we turned it off altogether. The only time this was an issue was sleeping. Luckily, there was a blanket in the closet. At first, we used it the way you'd normally use a blanket, and then my husband figured out that the real issue was the nonstop air blowing onto the bed from a ceiling vent, so he used the blanket and towel clips to block the air from coming through the partition onto our heads. Well, it worked. We did take that blanket down every day so as not to get in the way of housekeeping. A minor con is that we wished housekeeping would have come every day in the morning instead of it mostly being in the afternoon. Some afternoons we ended up just turning on the do not disturb since we cared more about having the room to ourselves and having fresh towels. We only got turned down service a couple of nights out of the 7 we were there, but we eat dinner early and we usually came right back to the beach house afterwards, so we may have just turned on our do not disturb before they had a chance. But one night we returned to our room to find cheeses, wine, petit fours. Although I didn't have much room to eat anything after a 4-course dinner, my husband did enjoy it. There's always some room for improvement. The toilet paper is brutally thin, and it fell very easily off this toilet paper holder. I wish the glass door to the toilet had a latch, and that the shower had a door instead of being half open, so I didn't always have to be worried about flooding the bathroom floor. Oh, and a shower bench to shave your legs. That's always appreciated. These sink knobs are really difficult to turn if your hands are wet. They're just too smooth to get a grip. More hooks in the bathroom would be great, so there's more places to hang toiletry bags, towels, bathrobes. The couch's slip covers are getting a little tired. Honestly, I only really care that they were clean, but it does look a bit dorm roomish. Here's a pro tip. I pack a light cotton throw. Actually, this one was sold as a wall hanging that I use as a cover on the deck's daybed. It's perfect when napping. And I never had any mosquito bites, even being out there in the middle of the night. They do fog the beach house area every single morning and sometimes in the evenings. Excellence has updated the deck floor since our last day. The new tile looks so much nicer than the old artificial wood. Something else new since our last day, there are now speakers playing music throughout the grounds. It seems like most were covers of classic rock songs, either done in a reggae style or like a Norah Jones ballad. It was fun to try and figure out what this song was, but I would have preferred the volume to have been a little bit lower in the area around the beach houses. I hate to even mention these little things because none of them mattered a bit when we were there. Sitting on the beach house deck, I felt truly like I was in paradise. I can't even tell you how many times I said, "This is so pretty," as I sat out there or walked the grounds or bobbed in the Caribbean. So let's raise a glass to Beach House 503 and hope we meet again. Well, you did it. You made it to the end of this video. If you liked what you saw, you might want to check out my room tour of Beach House 1003, since in that video I touch on some parts of the room a little more in depth than I did in this one. And I'm hoping to get at least a short room tour put together of our 2022 stay in Beach House 603, so you can at least see what the view is like from that room. If you have any questions about the Excellence Oyster Bay beach houses or the resort in general, feel free to ask them in the comments section. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thanks again, and I'll see you later this year at Excellence El Carmen in Punta Cana.